There are 6 jurors deliberating on your medical malpractice trial. Your trial has ended, and now the jury is trying to decide whether you are entitled to a verdict in your favor. Now, they're unable to come to a decision after the first few hours, and the judge decides, you know what, that's enough for today. I'm going to have the jury come back the following day, the next day, in order to continue their deliberations. The following day, one of the jurors does not show up. What does the judge do? What do we do? You want to know the answer? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski, a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney, and let me tell you what happens here. This is a problem. You see, during the entire trial, there are 6 members of the community who are on the jury. They're the ones to listen to all the evidence and all the testimony. However, there are also additional jurors who have been selected. They are spare jurors. We call them alternate jurors. And now their function is that if any one of the 6 jurors become ill or cannot continue during the course of the trial, now one of those alternate jurors take the place of the person who can no longer continue. But now it becomes a bit different when the jury goes back to deliberate. Because the moment the case is over, and now the judge gives the jury the law on this particular case, and now they go back to the jury room, he then turns to those extra jurors, those alternates, and says, ladies and gentlemen, you've been so nice, we thank you for your service, but you are now excused. And now they're told to go home. So those extra jurors have now left. And now the main jury, the 6 members of the jury, are now deliberating, and they're having discussions. So now at the end of the day, the judge sends everybody home, tells them to come back the next morning. The next morning, what happens? Only 5 out of the 6 jurors return back to the courtroom. And now they learn that the 6th juror cannot return back to court. They've got some family emergency, and now it's impossible for them to come back and continue. So what does the judge do? Well, now we have a significant dilemma, but it's still solvable. The judge will call the attorneys in and say, listen, here's our problem. We only have 5 out of the 6 jurors. Do you want to continue with only 5 of the jurors? That's a very tricky balancing act. Why? Because there are very specific legal requirements about how many jurors must answer one way or another. Typically, only 5 out of the 6 jurors must answer together in order to reach a verdict. We don't need all 6. It doesn't have to be a unanimous verdict. We need 5. But what happens now if we're down to 5? Well, in that instance, we would need all 5 to reach a verdict on each and every question, and that could be a problem. The other problem is both attorneys have to now agree to continue forward with only 5 jurors. If one attorney says, no, this is not good, I don't agree to it, now the case is over, and then we'll have to retry the entire case. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding into what goes on in these civil lawsuits here in New York, and in fact, it does happen occasionally. You know, I realize you're watching this video because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit and haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need answers, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, this is something I do every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a great day.